last night I got a chance to share my story at an opportunity meeting, and I realized for the first time I hadn't really shared it with a group of people before in detail like I did last night. And I really just hope that this story, that there's one person out there who's struggling health-wise, and that this story could help them too. So my story starts pre-Plexus. Back in 2008, I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. At that point in my life, I'd never been over 300 pounds, and I found myself at 350 pounds. So Angela and I were getting out of debt, and during that time, Dave Ramsey talks about getting term life insurance and protecting your family. So I had a blood test done as part of that. Well, the results came back, and I really didn't know what the numbers meant. I mean, I didn't know, what was good, bad, etc. So I started Googling it, and when I saw the research I was getting, it looked like I might have diabetes. So I decided immediately I need to go ahead and schedule an appointment with my doctor. So went to the doctor, and this is a true story. Here's what he tells me. He said, well, it's not like we didn't see this one coming. Well, that hit me hard. I mean, the diabetes diagnosis and the way that he did it, he might as well have told me cancer. I mean, it was devastating to hear those words, and I knew in great depth that it was a lot my fault because, that was my fault that I gained so much weight and I was in the situation that I was in. But I just felt numb, and I really didn't, know what to do. So first thing I did, because he was uncompassionate in the way that he handled the situation, I fired my doctor. And I got into the gym, and I worked my butt off. I got a personal trainer, and I dropped 70 pounds. And did that all on my own. Changed my diet, exercise, etc. Well, fast forward to Christmas of 2012. I had been working in what I considered my dream job. The perks were great, the money was great, bonuses, and then 3 days before Christmas, I got laid off. And that was probably the hardest thing that I've gone through in my personal life before as far as professional career. I've always been top of my profession, and it affected me in a lot of ways. So what do you do when life happens? Well, you find the old ways to medicate yourself, and food was my medication. So I got depressed, I ate, I gained weight back again, and then the cool thing is God was with us all the way. I went from one job on Friday, started a new job on Monday, collected a great severance package, all that, but there was a lot of hurt and pain through that whole situation, and quite honestly, I'm still dealing with it a little bit today. So last year I had an annual health screening at work because you do these health screenings and they reduce your cost for your health care. So, who doesn't want to save a few $100? So I had health screening. Now, I had been skipping my annual physical because I knew the doctor wasn't going to like, the weight I've gained, and so I was trying to do everything on my own. And at the health screening, my numbers were just way out of whack. I think my blood sugar was somewhere between 200 and 220. Good fasting blood sugar for a diabetic should be under 100, and mine was way out of whack. And also during this time, because I had skipped my annual physical, my doctor had stopped filling my subscription for metformin. So at this time, I was like 3 months off of my medication for diabetes, and had a big part to do with my numbers. So, I knew what to do before diet and exercise. So I got back into the gym, was working my butt off, and it really wasn't working the way it had in the past. I was just struggling. I mean, I was working hard, but would lose a little bit, but never was getting the weight off the way that I had before. So then because I was off the metformin, I still didn't want to go to the doctor, so I started getting my metformin from India. Paid like $50 a bottle, and it's $3 generic. So I was avoiding the doctor. I'm going to do it on my own. Then my sister-in-law started posting about Plexus, and let me kind of frame up that picture a little bit. I had a bunch of friends that were in different kinds of things. I won't name them, but they were all posting different things about, you know, you know, for skincare products, for this and that, and the Plexus stuff was driving me nuts. I mean, she's my sister-in-law and I love her, but I'm like, I can't unfriend her. Maybe I should hide her posts because they were just driving me nuts. But I didn't because I love my family and my nieces and nephews, and I always wanted to see what was going on in their lives since we live out of town. So finally, though, something happened. She started posting her pictures of her results. Now, I've always viewed my sister-in-law as being healthy, athletic. She's young. She runs half marathons, and it hit me that if somebody's healthy or relatively healthy, and they're seeing those kind of results, then what could it do for me? So now I'm wanting to try this Plexus stuff, but my wife, in the meantime, had lost 76 pounds on her own. And I was afraid to ask her because she's going to say, you know what you need to do, just do it. But finally, I got the courage up to ask her, and first thing she said, she's like, well, you need to do something because what you're doing is not working. And, I knew she loved me, and that didn't upset me in any way, shape, or form, how she said it, because I'm like, all right, I can try this. She's let me try this. So I started talking to Erin and sending her questions back and forth, but still took a couple weeks to just really get the courage to go ahead and take the plunge. So finally I took the plunge, and, the results are great, and, I'll get into some of that, but what I didn't expect was the non-weight loss type stuff. So I started taking the Plexus. Now, up until this point, I'm going to give you a background of just, and I've got some notes here, of just what I was experiencing. I had allergies, and sinus issues 3 to 5 times a week. I took a cocktail of drugs, Zyrtec, Benadryl, Sudafed. I was popping 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams of ibuprofen a day. I did the neti pot, whatever it took to get that sinus pressure and allergy issues resolved. And I had migraines about once or twice a week, and they were horrible. If you get anybody that experiences migraines, when you get them, I had to lay down, be in a dark room, close my eyes typically to get over that. And again, popping the ibuprofen. So I'm completely off soda. I was drinking soda, 1 to 2 liters of soda a day. I've lost 31 pounds, 25 inches. I'm sleeping amazing. Crazy thing is, I went years with not dreaming anymore, or not remembering that I had any dreams. I'm sleeping so good now. I'm having dreams all the time, and that's awesome. I mean, it's been really cool that was a side effect of taking Plexus. But that's not all. So life does happen. I came into December and I had a crazy health issue. When I was a kid, every year for my birthday, I had strep throat. And there's pictures of me as a kid where I'm on the bed, all my presents, and then there's pictures of the party, and I'm the only kid not in the pictures because I'm sick in bed. So I hadn't had strep throat in 15, 16 years, and I got strep throat in December. And when I got it, I got these horrible hives. I mean, hives the size of plates on the sides of me, and it was crazy. And horrible pain. So I went to urgent care on a Sunday, but like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. So about a week before the strep throat, I had fell off a ladder hanging up Christmas lights. And, so it's 2 o'clock in the morning. I've got all these crazy hives, don't really know what it is. So I do the crazy thing of Googling it, How many people have had a health issue and they Google it? Don't do that because it'll just scare you, freak you out. So I do that, and strep and the hives, and it's telling me maybe flesh-eating virus. So it's 2 o'clock in the morning. I've got this crazy thing on me. I've known 2 people in my lifetime that died of flesh-eating virus. Horrible, horrible thing. And both people got it after a fall. One on a zip line, another guy falling, playing basketball. Here I fell a week earlier on a ladder. So kind of freaked out and deciding, do I go to the emergency room, wake up Angela, or wait until 7 a.m. when urgent care, opens up? So kind of condense this story. So I go to urgent care. They give me a bunch of antibiotics and steroids. A week later, bam, it all comes back. Go back to urgent care again on Sunday. This time they give me another dose of steroids and a different antibiotic. And then a week later, guess what? I got it again. So this time I just suffered through the whole weekend and said, I'm not going back to urgent care. I need to go see my doctor. I need to go see a specialist. And so we started that whole process. Well, during all that, I have a family history of rheumatoid arthritis. Well, it had kicked in the arthritis, and I was having arthritis flare-ups. So extremely painful, joint pain, it was awful. And so I started taking fast relief and got a little bit of relief, but I'm no longer popping the ibuprofen, and there's no way I'm going back to that. So I'm getting some relief, but this was extremely frustrating, and all the progress I'd made, what to do. Then I went to Super Saturday, and Kristen Abart shared about all of our products, and not specifically about fast relief, but hey, these are supplements. So whatever your regimen's doing, you can experiment with them, because after all, you're not going to OD on these things. These are supplements. So that really didn't resonate until about a month later, because here I'm still suffering with all these new RA symptoms and still suffering from the hives. I'm on 4 different antihistamines. It was just crazy, and I just getting all drugged up again, and don't like the way that feels. And so I decided I'm going to start taking fast relief every 4 hours. Well, a couple, 2 or 3 weeks later, I've been doing this, not really thinking I haven't had any new symptoms, and I'm out and busy and was doing some stuff, and I missed some doses, and I was experimenting. I kept trying to get off of all the antihistamines, but then I realized, what was giving me the relief was taking the fast relief every couple hours, or every 4 hours, and it was doing amazing things. And if I missed a dose, I knew immediately that's what caused my flare-up. Well, awesome thing is Plexus just released a new product at convention. I've been on it about 9 or 10 days now. It's called Mega X. Great, all plant-based megas. And about 5 days in, I missed a dose of my fast relief. And I noticed, man, I don't have any RA symptoms. So I've been playing around with it the last week, and I'm now back down to just fast relief twice a day, and zero RA flare-ups. I'm feeling even better, sleeping even better, and so just amazing results in just a week. But I say all this, I tell people all the time, if I never lost a single pound, I'd do this all over again. Just look at all the health benefits. No more migraines, no more sinus or allergy issues. My RA and hives are completely under control, and it's just amazing. And I just wanted to share this story with all my friends. And feel free, we're one Plexus, so share away. Love you guys.